Death Note was directed by Adam Wingard and is based off of the original anime and manga known as Death Note. This movie stars a boy named Light who is played by Nat Wolff as he gets this mysterious book called the Death Note, which is connected to the death god Ryuk, who is voiced by Willem Dafoe. And he uses this book to basically purge the world of evil while being joined with his girlfriend, who is played by Margaret Qualley. This movie is interesting. There's been a lot of good and bad between the movie, mostly bad with this movie. And given how I've never read the manga and, to be frank, never seen the original anime, I'm going to give a somewhat opinion on this movie based on this movie. Like, for not being, not seeing the anime or reading the manga. So I'm going to give my own little review on this. The movie is fine at best. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in this movie, specifically too much within the time frame that it is. It's just under 2 hours. It's like, I think, an hour and 44 minutes long. But the movie itself feels rushed. There's so much stuff happening in the first 7 minutes. I would know, I actually timed it. In the first 7 minutes, there's so much going on that it's too overwhelming. And there's just, I get that they were trying to get to the meat of the movie and of everything, but when it comes to movies that are made in the US that have been adapted from animes or mangas, there's always something that the US misses. And that's not the first time. They did it with Dragon Ball Evolution, they did it with Ghost in the Shell, they did it with this movie. Even though they had a good director for this movie, the same person that did The Blair Witch, I understood where he was going with this, however, it just wasn't there. There's a lot of movies where they've tried to do the US form of an anime into a movie, and it just doesn't get there as much as most people want it to. And Death Note is one of those situations where I understood and saw what they were trying to do with this movie, but it just wasn't there. The acting in this movie was, to be frank, rather sloppy at points. And to be honest, the person that they chose for this part just didn't seem like he would be Light. He seemed like this angsty teenage kid who's in love with this girl, and that's the reason why he's doing this. And yeah, at first I was thinking that, and then I watched the rest of the movie and came to realize, yeah, that's exactly what. The only person that actually relatively makes sense, and even that's highly debatable, is the character L, who is played by Lakeith Stanfield. And his portrayal of L is interesting, because I've seen the looks, and I've kind of seen I've not seen Death Note, but I've seen the look of L in the show, and I've seen some bits and pieces of him, and like some stuff from it. And Lakeith did his own version of him while trying to match his awkwardness, which it's good, but it just, again, it mainly goes back to the point of trying to adapt a movie from a Japanese anime into American society. And most of the time that doesn't work because, again, with the acting in this, you've got an angsty teen who gets this book and now he's using it to impress this chick while the death god is just basically there. Willem Dafoe's character is there. I think he might be the best part of this movie, and even that's hardly debatable. He doesn't have much screen time, but when he does, he's just kind of standing there for the most part, and then he has a few lines here and there, but, I mean, again, his character's probably the best out of this whole thing, and the story's supposed to be about Light, and somehow the death god Ryu got, a little bit more praise in this movie than Light did. Now, a lot of the movies have something called a character arc, which I'm hoping everybody knows, so I'm not going to get into it. But in this movie, there's not really much character arc. My bad, not art. There's not much character arc for Light's character because he starts off as this just kind of troublemaker, and in the end, he ends up as a troublemaker, although he's in love this time. So there's no character arc with Light per se, other than his opinion and the change that he's going through to, instead of going for, like trying to help people with like math homework, he's getting rid of the bad guys in the world, which it's a good idea, but again, there's just no specific logical explanation behind it other than the fact that he wants to get rid of all the bad in the world. That's it. Now, I'm pretty sure the show and the manga do that a lot more justice than the movie, but due to the runtime of it being an hour and 44 minutes, they tried to cram so much into it. They tried to cram all of Death Note into a movie, and that's the problem, again, with most American things, is like with Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Evolution, they tried to cram too much into 90 minutes, and it backfired. Ghost in the Shell, they had it be longer, although they changed up quite a bit of it, and they tried to fit the original movie plus some of the anime into Ghost in the Shell. This movie's trying to fit all the manga and the all of Death Note into less than 2 hours. And that's just something that America struggles with a bit, is they try to pump out these movies, and in this case, they pump out a movie that could have been good. It had the potential to be good, but because of what they did to it, it couldn't have been good. This movie, if you've never seen the original Death Note, you might think this movie's just fine. You understand the concept. Ryuk looks cool for the most part, and that's about it. Otherwise, the rest is rushed. I mean, if you want to watch it, go ahead. I'm not saying it's the worst movie in the world, but I mean, it's fine. I'm giving Death Note a C-. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. I appreciate it. Stay tuned and stick around for later on this week. I might do an episode on it. For those of you who watched the live stream that I did earlier on Facebook, I might be doing it. Not entirely sure because right now we're under a hurricane area. So depending on how the weather goes there, I might or might not be doing a review. So I'll keep you guys updated. Again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, this is Pop Culture Critics signing off.